has been some time since I've made a YouTube video, and I'm gonna take full responsibility for not being consistent at all last year. I felt like I was consistent for a few months and then life got in the way and I just kind of tapered off. But I'm gonna say this right here, YouTube is my favorite platform, and I think I've mentioned this in other videos, but the community on YouTube it's just different. It's just way different. I have a special bond with you guys that literally no other platform can touch for me, but a lot has happened. So I figure we can do a little catch up, little sit down, hang out. So get yourself a little drink, get comfortable, and we're just gonna catch up like old friends. So I figure what better way to catch up than to do a Q&A. I have some juicy questions to answer for you guys. I've had a lot of life changes in the last year. So let's not waste any more time, let's get into it. First question, why did you take a break from YouTube and what brought you back? There's a few things that kind of got in the way. One, I realized that I was completely neglecting my Instagram and I really needed to dedicate more time into that, as well as focusing on more partnerships connected to Instagram. Instagram is my biggest platform, so I really needed to dedicate more time and effort into making content, nurturing my community there, as well as taking care of partnerships and stuff like that on that page. I also started taking on more UGC clients, basically ads and organic posts for other companies. And I still do that. I actually really enjoy it. I only work with companies that I truly feel aligned with. And so it's been honestly really cool to learn the UGC industry and creating ads and working closely with brands. It's been a lot of fun. The second reason I took a step back from YouTube is I started creating my guide. It's a fat loss muscle building guide. It's my very first guide that I ever made. And I was making sure it was perfect. It took many months to get it all smoothed out, to make sure it was perfect. So I was so excited to launch that. I basically dedicated a lot of time to that. Number 3, I can't even lie. I cannot even lie to you guys. I was getting a little impatient. I was getting impatient with how slow my YouTube was growing, and I was like, okay, where am I already growing, or where do I already have a bigger community? And it was Instagram. And so I gave up. I gave up for a little bit, and there were other things. It wasn't just purely me giving up. It was also like trying to see where I could support myself more financially, and so I had to dedicate more time to doing UGC, to doing partnerships, to growing my Instagram. But I miss you guys. This has been a conversation that keeps coming up with friends and Fernando, and I'm just like, I'm tired of just talking about it, and I'm ready to just start doing it, and so that's why we're here. I love YouTube. YouTube is my favorite platform ever. It's the only platform where I feel like I can truly just be me, and I just love it. There's just something about it. I love it so much. I watch YouTube all the time. I love watching vlogs. I love watching, honestly, all types of content on YouTube. We're following my passion. We're following the things, even if it's slow growing, we're following the things that bring me joy, and that's what we're doing. So we're here. Question number 2, what changed about how you create content and why? You guys, I've been all over the place. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've been a little bit all over the place with how I make content on Instagram. I've made a whole variety of pieces of content. I go through these waves of like, okay, I need to niche down, I need to pick one thing and go all in. There was a moment in time where I was doing all sorts of content and I was not growing whatsoever. So I do understand there's an aspect of picking a niche and why that's important. I like too many things. Like how do you just pick one thing? Like my mind cannot wrap around that. So currently my content is based around health. Obviously it's my biggest passion, faith, which has been like a newer journey for me in the last few years, and being a fiance, and we'll get into that in a little while. I'm trying not to be so rigid with my content. Even just a few weeks ago, me and Fernando were having dinner and he's like, can I ask you something? And I was like, yes. And he asked me if I actually enjoy creating content. He's like, I just feel like you don't enjoy creating content anymore. And I sat there, and honestly, it's been something I've been thinking about ever since he brought it up. And I'm like, wow, you're actually right. Like, I was getting so much in my head about the right way to appease to the algorithm and how to go viral and how to follow this tip and trick and this course. And it's like, it got in my head so much, and I was just so worried about growing that I wasn't even enjoying creating anymore. Like, it wasn't even bringing out the creativity in me anymore, and which is why I love creating content. Like, that's the basis of why people create. And so that made me pause, and I realized the thing that was causing me to be rigid was following everyone else's advice and not truly listening to the things that I want to share with the world. So going back to the question, what has changed about my content? Honestly, I wouldn't say too much. I think right now I'm finally finding my footing of the things that I want to share, which is health and my faith and my relationship. And if I really think about it, all three of those things are a daily part of my life. And so I'm excited to continue sharing about those things. And yeah, those things bring me so much joy. So that's kind of what has changed, I guess, my content pillars, if you will. Next question is, what does your day-to-day look like as a creator? Every day looks different, if I'm being honest. Every single day is so different because some weeks I'll have multiple ads that I need to film. Other weeks, I'm just purely focusing on my own content. But if I had to give you like a detailed description of what my day-to-day looks like, it looks like working out in the morning, planning out my content for the week, scripting for different brands, filming the content, obviously, editing the content. I feel like that's kind of what my day-to-day looks like. I'm gonna be the first to say, I love being a content creator. I think it's the coolest job in the world. I've had the coolest opportunities. I've made some really amazing friends. I feel like I love my life so much. Yeah, I feel blessed. I feel blessed to be able to do the things that I do every single day. Let's get into the juicy stuff. How did the proposal happen? What were the details? All of the things. This story could probably take its own video, so I'll try to wrap it up quickly. I'm gonna take a sip before we get into this. So me and Fernanda planned a trip to Guatemala in December, early December. And there was like part of me that was kind of questioning, like, obviously, if you guys know the story, me and Fernanda have been together for 12 years now, which is crazy, since 2013. And obviously, like, in the early days, if you guys know our story, we didn't like stay together consecutively. Like, we had moments of breaking up and trying to find ourselves, but in general, 12 years of being in a relationship. So obviously, I'm always like, okay, when is this gonna happen? I feel like I have never really, like, I've had all my friends like pressure me, like, when are you getting engaged? Like, how come you guys are not engaged? Like, it's so crazy. Like, you've been together for 12 years, like, what the heck? Personally, this is gonna sound crazy, but I didn't have that urge until like a year or so ago, and it just makes sense because it's around the time I found Jesus. But I just started having this urge to want to get married or like want to get engaged. It was never like this pressing where like I was constantly asking him or anything like that. I truly didn't feel that way. I just knew that it was gonna happen naturally, the way, you know, God has planned. I also am somebody that I just like when things happen naturally. Like, I think if you have to like pressure someone to do something, it takes the fun and like the excitement out of the experience. So yeah, like I purely just knew it was gonna happen in God's timing, and I was excited obviously, but yeah, I just knew it was gonna happen at some point. But anyway, so we planned the trip to Guatemala. We went to like Atitlan. I feel like sometimes I don't pronounce it right, but it was beautiful, you guys. Like, I've never been to somewhere that beautiful. I'm gonna be honest. It felt like I was in a fairy tale. Flowers, the water, the people, like everything was just beautiful. I have never experienced something like that. We ended up staying there for a full week. The first 2 nights we stayed in a hotel, and then the rest of the time we got an Airbnb. I can't remember the name of the hotel. I think it was Hotel Atitlan, but I'll put it here for you guys so you know the name. It was a beautiful property. You could see the volcano in the distance. When we were driving in, we actually saw a volcano erupting. It was so cool. So basically, we're staying at this hotel the first 2 days. I came somewhat prepared. I came with a dress to, you know, just in case, you know, something were to happen, and I was prepared. So we get there, we unpack our things, whatever, and then we start planning out the rest of the few days. In my mind, I know that if we're getting engaged, Fernanda's gonna have a plan. It's not gonna be like, oh yeah, like we'll do this, we'll do that, like whatever you want. I was just kind of confused because he was putting on me like, oh, whatever you wanna do, what do you wanna do? And so in my mind, I was texting my friends and I was like, you guys, I don't think it's happening. Because I was like, if it was gonna happen, he would have a plan. Like, why do we not have a plan for tomorrow? Because my friends were like all hyped for me. They're like, he's gonna do it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to put pressure on it. And so I did feel like a little bit of pressure because all my friends are telling me this. But I was like, yeah, you guys, I don't think it's gonna happen. And so we were trying to decide like, oh, do you want to go to this hotel nearby? We could take a boat and get content, explore the property, or we could stay at our place. And in my mind, I really wanted to go to this other property because it was beautiful. And we ended up going there later in the trip, but that's how I envisioned it happening. I was like, if we're gonna get engaged, I can see us getting engaged there. So that's the way my mind was going. But Fernando was like, you know what, babe, like, why don't we just wake up early? We can get some cool pictures in the morning, like get breakfast and just kind of like take it slow. And then we could decide what we want to do the rest of the day. And I was like, okay, like, I guess that's fine, whatever. So we're planning and he's like, babe, we should try to wake up super early tomorrow because like supposedly the lighting is best early morning at the lake. So I'm like, okay, like I ended up getting I think we got up around like 6 a.m. or like something crazy, or maybe it was like 5 a.m. It was something crazy, and he had convinced me to do this. I was like, okay, like I guess like we're on vacation, but we're gonna get up this early, like okay. So then I still had this part of me that was like, okay, then maybe it's happening if we're getting up early, like there's a lot of plans. And so I was getting ready in the bathroom, and I'll put the video here. You guys can see I'm like, is this gonna happen? And Fernando was like ironing my dress for me, which he does all these little things anyway, so it wasn't like super of a shock, but there was something that felt a little bit more special. He was looking really nice, he was ironing his stuff. So yeah, we start walking through the garden. We have my tripod, because like the whole idea was to get content early in the morning. And so he's getting pictures of me. Oh, the lighting's really good. Like go over there. Like he's getting content from me. And we end up on this like grassy field. I'll show all the pictures here. And we end up on this field and he sets up the tripod. I was like, oh, like we should get content together. And so he's getting pictures of me and then he sets up the thing and I'm like looking away and then he comes walking over to me and he's like, so, do you know why we're here? And I'm like, what? Maybe? And so I was just like, I honestly, this whole thing like went by so fast. So if I have any advice for someone that's gonna get engaged soon, like try to really savor the moment because it happens so quickly. It happens so fast, but it was so special. And he was like, you know, I love you so much. Like, I'm so sorry it took me so long to do this. Like I've known I want to marry you. We just had like our own little moment and he proposes and we're just crying. It was a beautiful moment. And then he's like, yeah, we have pictures too. We look up and there's a girl like getting pictures for us. So after that we ended up doing like a shoot with her. It was so perfect, so beautiful. It was such a unique engagement. Like I haven't seen anything else like it. It was perfect. I'm so grateful for it. After that, we had one more night at that hotel, and so we just kind of chilled and explored the property. And then the next day we went to our Airbnb, which was absolutely insane. But yeah, that's basically it for the proposal. The entire trip in general was immaculate. It was perfect. I wish I could relive it again. I definitely would love to go back to Guatemala one day. If you guys want a whole separate video talking more about the details of the trip, just let me know in the comments and I can do that. What has the engaged life been like? Has there been any surprises for you? Honestly, I didn't really know what to expect. Like I never knew what it was gonna feel like to be engaged, obviously. I didn't really feel like it was gonna feel any different just because we've been together for so long, but it honestly does. It feels very different. It feels so exciting to be a fiance. Like I feel naked if I leave the house and I'm not wearing this. I just feel like, if I'm being honest, more feminine. I'm feeling excited. The dynamic between us hasn't changed just because we've been together for so long, but yeah, it's just like exciting. It's peaceful. Like it's just exciting. That's all I can say. I feel like exciting is like the #1 word that comes to mind. Next question is, what does your dream wedding look like? Well, you guys, as much as I'm hyping up being engaged, wedding planning is a whole nother topic. I'm just gonna say wedding planning has been a lot. I love being engaged, but wedding planning, you know, like right when you get engaged, it's so exciting. Like people are asking about the wedding, but you're like, yeah, we'll get to that, like no worries. But then like a few months go down and you're like, okay, now I need to really like figure out what we're doing. And so that's where I'm at right now. So what does my dream wedding look like? My dream wedding would obviously be like not this massive thing, but a wedding where I could have all my friends and family there. Being out of the country would be ideal, something very scenic and beautiful. Just having like a really good time with our loved ones, but we're not doing that. I'm actually calling off the wedding. Because we're thinking about just eloping now. And when I say eloping, I don't mean it's just gonna be like us two, which I'm okay with that if that does happen. but we thought it would be nice to just invite our parents and maybe my sister and her husband and Fernando's siblings. When we started planning the wedding, we were set. Like, we were 95% sure we were gonna have a wedding in Mexico City. And then I started looking into the details of it and I was like, okay, the logistics of having a wedding in Mexico City with everybody coming from America to Mexico City, it just seemed like a lot. It seemed like very logistically confusing, just because compared to doing a wedding right in like Cabo, you could get like an all-inclusive resort where your entire family stays together and it's just like you're in one little ecosystem together, and it's not hard, everything's included, it's, you know, they don't have to Uber around. Mexico City was a whole nother thing to talk about, because it's like, okay, we're expecting people to get Airbnbs, separate hotels, and then have to Uber to the venue, then go here for the reception. And it just felt like there was a lot of moving pieces, and it honestly, it was bringing up more stress in me to think about that. I also had some pushback with some people like asking about the safety of Mexico City, and like there was a few things that had happened as we were navigating this. Like there was like a cartel war happening in Mexico at the time, and so just the logistics of everything was it wasn't looking good, because a lot of people were having concerns, and I get it, you know, but me and Fernando, like, we love Mexico. We've been there multiple times and we just think it's a beautiful country. Obviously Fernando is Mexican, so that's why we had this idea of like having this beautiful Mexican wedding. Like that would be great, but the logistics, it just felt like it was becoming a lot. So now we're still a little undecided. What I will say is we're thinking about going somewhere in Europe to elope. This isn't concrete yet, but this is like becoming more of a yes to us. I was also just envisioning like, okay, we're gonna spend like 30 to 40K on a wedding for a literal day. And it's like, that's just, my mind cannot wrap around that. I cannot, like, maybe if I just had like millions to blow, maybe we could do that 100%. But like, we work so hard for our money, you guys. Like, we work hard, and to think that we would have to like just spend that on 1 to 2 days of a celebration. And I get it, like it's the most important day of our lives, but like, if I'm being honest, I would love to spend more on the honeymoon or getting a house one day. Like there's just other things that I think are slightly more important. So what we're thinking is we'll probably have to spend around like 8 to 10K getting eloped somewhere, and that's where we're at right now. So if there's any more updates, I will be sure to update you guys. The next question was, how is wedding planning going? Where are you at with it? You guys already know. We just talked about all that. Next question is, how has your faith journey been? It's been really good, you guys. It's been really good. I feel like I'm learning a lot of new things about myself within this whole journey. I actually just finished a whole series of women's meetings that I had through a church here called VU in Miami. It's called, we did a crew called Soul Care, and basically you have to read a book, and we're reading this book with a group of women, and it takes you through each step basically of like how to really take care of your soul. And at the end you reach deliverance, and so you have a whole ceremony kind of thing of deliverance, and it was very interesting. I actually just went through deliverance last week. It was a very different experience, and I can't compare it to anything else. Obviously I used to be very deep into New Age, and I would say that those rituals and ceremonies were very different compared to the peace that I felt within the deliverance process. Through that journey, basically I was learning about the new things that I had to start working on within my whole faith journey. There's been like a lot of like ups and downs since getting saved a few years ago. Moments of feeling confused, and then moments of like being super on fire and excited. And I think that's just normal for anybody's faith journey. Right now, I feel really good about it. I feel like my relationship with God has just gotten stronger in the last few months. Has your content shifted since you started your faith journey? 100%. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I started sharing more about God and Jesus, and like just more about the things that I was learning. And I still am talking about it. I still think it's important to constantly share your faith, share your testimony, share the things that you're learning and how you're growing. How do you balance your holistic health roots with being a Christian now? I feel like everything just perfectly intertwines. Obviously, there could be like other religions that could tie into holistic health, but for me, my holistic health journey goes perfectly with my Christian journey. There's many parts in the Bible where God talks about taking care of your temple, having self-control. There's so many different types of foods and medicines talked about in the Bible. I feel like there's just so much to learn, and there's a lot that you can intertwine with health and the Bible. Next question, what does your current health and fitness routine look like today? We just got gym memberships here in Miami. We go to this really nice gym. It's in downtown. It's called Club Studio. It's a super nice gym. So basically our routine is we wake up at 6 a.m. We leave the house by 6:45. We get to the gym, work out. We typically leave around 9. Come home, shower, get ready for the day. We meal prep. Obviously, you guys have seen previous videos. We like to do our meal prep on Sundays. So I'll meal prep like 2 different types of breakfast, and then I'll meal prep meat separately with a veggie and some carbs. Obviously, we have our supplements and other little things in between, but I'd say that's kind of what our routine looks like. Any big health lessons or findings from this past year? A lot. I haven't shared this yet. I made a whole Instagram video about it and actually went viral, and yeah. So basically I did a full body MRI scan with Ezra, and they found that I have a tumor on my liver caused from birth control. You guys know I haven't been on birth control since 2020. I got off. So it's been like almost a full 6 years off of being off birth control. And to think that I have a tumor on my liver caused from birth control is absolutely wild to me. So my logical thinking is this tumor was probably really large in the prior years. And I think that because once you get off of birth control, your tumors typically shrink. This is what I'm learning. From what I know, doctors will find a tumor on your liver, and if they know that you're on birth control, they will get you off immediately because they know that once you get off, the tumor will start to shrink. My tumor is like medium size, and so my understanding is I probably had a rather large tumor on my liver, and it's just now like gradually shrinking. I say all this to say, like, you guys know how I feel about birth control. You know that I feel bad for my body that I was on it for so long. You guys know I was on it since I was 12 until I was 24 for my skin and really painful periods. And yeah, I really wish that there were other options talked about more openly with women, because we know that there are plenty of more options now. Yeah, so that was like probably my biggest finding. They also found a cyst on one of my ovaries. They found that my gallbladder had mild sludge. It said it was functioning properly, but that it was slightly sludgy. And so I've been working on that. Doing that scan was honestly so interesting to just learn about my body in that way. Obviously, I do function testing twice a year, and all my markers from the blood testing side they've honestly gotten better as I started with function. So yeah, currently I've been focusing on just taking care of my body better and just like helping my body process and truly just get rid of this and shrink the liver tumor completely. One thing I have learned about, it's called a hepatic adenoma. It's non-cancerous, so I do want to say that. They do say that getting pregnant while having this liver tumor can be very dangerous, because once you get pregnant, your body starts telling things to grow, obviously, and that could cause some issues when you're pregnant and giving birth. And so it could cause a rupture, there's like a lot of complications that come with it. So that's kind of like what I'm navigating currently. Obviously, like, I want to get married. There's like a whole, like, I have an idea of how I want my path to go as far as getting pregnant one day, but that is something that I need to like think about for the future. What is your current supplement stack? Right now, my supplements look very interesting. I have my supplements kind of sectioned out from morning, afternoon, and then evening to give you a little idea of how it looks. I wake up, I make my chlorophyll lemon water, and I add aloe vera juice. I take my lactoferrin on an empty stomach, and as I take that, I'm getting everything else ready for my breakfast and all that. And then after my breakfast, I have vitamin D3 with K2, NAC, desiccated beef spleen, vitamin C. This is hard because I feel like I just do it like muscle memory. Oh, and methylated B complex. And then later after lunch, I then take zinc, because I need to separate my zinc from the other stuff. And then at night, I take my magnesium glycinate. I think that's everything. If I'm missing anything, I'll just write a whole list of what I'm doing. Next question is, what has been your biggest personal challenge in the last year? I would say time management. I feel like it's just been an ongoing thing, and it's just been something that I've had to work on structuring better. I'm the kind of person that needs to have like a few consecutive days of having zero plans, and if I do, it can kind of like mess with my workflow the following days, if that makes sense. In all, I'm really realizing like I'm a true introvert at heart. Like, people joke around about it like, oh, I'm an introvert too. Like, no, like, you guys, if I have one day of socializing, I need 20 days after that to recuperate. And that's not even an exaggeration. I'm being so honest. I don't know why it feels different for me. And this does not mean that I don't love hanging out and socializing, because I think it's great, but there is just something about my energy levels that I can't think straight the following days. For some weird reason, it messes with my workflow so much. And so it's just been something that me and Fernando have been working on. Fernando's helped me a lot, like just see that within myself. And so what I'm noticing is I can't overcommit myself to doing too many different things. I actually wanted to talk about this on Instagram because I feel like introverts can have this, they can appear as rude sometimes because of it, because you're not constantly saying yes to everybody. Most of my friends are single-ish, and the dynamic is just different. You know what I mean? Like, when you're single, you have a lot more time to do stuff and make plans. And then when you're in a relationship, you're trying to balance out time with your partner, time with your friends, time with yourself, and it can just feel slightly overwhelming. And from the outside looking in, people could see that you're being rude or you don't spend enough time with them. And for me, I'm just like, I have to come to terms with who I am and like my energy levels and my personal goals. And yeah, so I think that has been something that I've been continuously working on in the last year. I think I've gotten pretty good at managing my time for the most part recently, but yeah, that's just been like a huge thing that I've been working on. What are you most excited about for this next chapter? I'm excited for all kinds of stuff, honestly. I'd say number one is getting married. Like, I'm so excited to be a wife. I think that's gonna be so cool. My last name is gonna be Cortez, and that's so cool. Right now, we also have a few different trips booked right now, and we usually don't travel as much. We're going to New York next week, which I'm really stoked about. I've never been to New York, and so I'm excited to explore, and I think just this year is just exciting in general. I feel like there's this new wave of energy. I'm feeling inspired. I don't know, this year just feels different. I'm just excited. Favorite thing to do in Miami right now? I would say me and Fernando have this new routine where when he gets off work, we'll like eat dinner and then we'll take a walk like to the Venetian Bridge at sunset, and it's just beautiful. Everybody's just outside getting exercise. Miami is a very health conscious city, and so you're constantly just seeing people out exercising, running, and so it's just been like a new little routine that we've been enjoying. Also, just finding new places to eat, trying different frozen yogurt places. We like to do very wholesome things. Like, we don't really go out like that. So I'd say like, yeah, just going out, going for walks, going to the beach. Next question, what are you watching, reading, / listening to? We don't really watch, we haven't really watched any shows or anything like that. What we do watch is we watch YouTube typically. We like to watch vlogs. We watch Christian Guzman vlogs, Daniel Dallin. I like to watch Lena Lifts. Yeah, there's just different vloggers that we like to watch. I feel like we don't really watch shows. We just watch YouTube kind of in the background sometimes. Reading, I just finished my soul care book. I don't have a new book currently. My friends that I do my book club with, they're all out of town right now, so yeah, we're just not doing any book right now. I mean, I guess you could say reading the Bible, but that's like an ongoing one forever. Listening to, haven't really listened to any podcasts. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I haven't really been listening to any podcasts. And as far as music, I switched between like worship music to country music to like artists like Goldford, just like chill, relaxing kind of vibe. What's one thing people would be surprised to know about you? I'm gonna come back to that. Next question is biggest goal of the year: physical, mental, spiritual. Spiritual, just getting closer to God, getting to know God more, having like a deeper, intimate relationship with God. Physical is just like getting in the best shape I've ever been in. I feel like I'm on the path to that right now. I've been feeling really good and like strong physically. Obviously, healing my liver tumor and like doing that. Mental, I would say being able to handle stress better mentally. I feel like on the outside I'm able to like handle things, or at least appear that I'm handling things pretty well, but in my mind I'm like overthinking things. I think what's interesting, I'm learning of this about myself, I'm really good at handling major life changes and like things that people would be like, oh my gosh, is that traumatic? Like that must have been a lot. I feel like I'm really good at handling those things, whereas small little day-to-day stressors, those are the things that like bog me down. It's the weirdest thing. So yeah, I'd say that, learning how to manage my time better, manage my ADHD mind. I'm not diagnosed or anything, but I definitely have something going on. Yeah, I would say mentally I'd like to handle stress better. Going back to the question, what's one thing people would be surprised to know about you? I think I'm gonna have to go ask Fernando because I personally don't know. Hi, Baba. Hello. He's just working. I have a question for you for the vlog. Okay. What is one thing people would be surprised to know about me?
So like people that know you on the internet, right?
Yeah.
I feel like people think about creators or influencers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They think that people are putting like this act on social media and they're really not like that in person. And I think like you are literally the person on social media in real life.
Oh, cute. Is that a good thing?
I think it's a great thing because I think you put a lot of positivity out there and you just have a big smile and want people to do better with us. You do that as well in your life.
You're so cute. That's such a good answer. Oh my goodness. I didn't even tell him to say this, you guys. That was really sweet. Give me a smoochie.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for that answer, cutie. Well, you guys, that is it for the Q&A. It's been so fun. I'm getting that spark back. I'm so excited to be back on YouTube. I am definitely gonna have some more videos coming. I'm going to New York, like I said, so we're gonna have some videos coming from that. Yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited to be back with you guys. I missed you, and yeah. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys soon. I love you.